Fireside Hearth and Home Shop, serving 2 locations, Murphy, North Carolina, and Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Stephen here with Fireside Hearth and Home Shop, and today we're at our Murphy location, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about the Hearthstone Heritage wood stove. Now, this is a very unique wood stove for a bunch of different reasons. When you look at wood stoves, there's really basically 3 different categories of stoves. There's steel, there's cast iron, and there's soapstone. And this actually is a soapstone. And probably the biggest difference between all 3 is how quickly they heat up, the temperatures they heat up to, and how long they hold the heat after. And what makes the soapstone stove different than the others is actually that the soapstone does take longer to heat up, roughly about 20 minutes longer than, say, a steel stove. But after the fire goes out, it's going to hold that heat an hour, maybe an hour and a half longer than a traditional steel stove. The other thing that's different about the soapstone is that the surface temperature on the high end, after you really get it going, is going to average somewhere around 450, maybe 500 degrees. Where when you look at cast iron and steel, I've seen them go 6, 7, 8, even 900 degrees if you really get them high. So the benefit of the soapstone is it's still going to heat, but that you can actually sit closer to a soapstone stove without having it overwhelm you with heat. Now, it's still going to heat pretty hot, but nowhere near that surface temperature of, say, 700, 800 degrees. The other thing that's really unique is it's almost like a pizza stone. It's very evenly heated, meaning if you sit near the stove and you try to really feel the heat coming off the stove, on steel and cast iron, you almost feel a pulsation of heat hitting you. With the soapstone, it's more of a smooth, even heat, so it's just a little easier to work with. Now, this here is the Heritage. The Heritage is actually engineered to heat roughly about 2,000 square feet at an 8-foot high ceiling. I put it in the 12 to 2,000 square feet. This stove you see here is in more of a seafoam color. They offer this in traditional matte black. And what we're talking about in color is right around the cast iron pieces. The soapstone itself is more of a gray color. And again, it's a natural stone, so every stone comes in a little bit different, so it is kind of unique. And in my hand, I actually have a piece of the soapstone. You'll see it's a different color than what's on the stove. But Hearthstone uses 1-inch thick soapstone, and what you see on the outside of the stove, you'll actually see on the inside. So what it does is the fire actually touches that stone and then heats through it. But I mentioned the seafoam color here. It comes in traditional black, matte black. It also has a high gloss black and even a brown color. Now, the stove will take roughly a 21 to 22 inch log, and you can actually do that from the front here. But also the stove offers you the option of having a side load, or actually the side load is a feature built into it, but you can choose what side you want that side load in. I love side load stoves because when you load from the side, you go straight in from the side, you don't have to worry about a log rolling out as you're loading. The other thing that's unique is if you do load from the front, you got to be careful of that log rolling out. So people love the side load for that. Again, you can put it on the left side or the right side. But the other thing with this side load is that if you notice, as she pulls back out, is that the side load comes down. Now, most side loaders open like a door on a house, but with it coming down like this, any dirt that drops on the side load as you're loading it, when you close it, just drops right back into the stove. I really like that feature. The other thing is the stove has an optional ash pan. I think you'll see down there the grate for that ash pan. We do have the option on this stove, but you don't have to have it. It does add a little bit more to the retail cost of the stove. You can vent the stove off the top or off the back. This is the Hearthstone Heritage.